What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Hold Husband Podcast. I'm your host, Terry DeRyan. I got my co-host, Jay Bob, on the line with me tonight. What's good, bro?
Not much, T. Man, obviously missing SD tonight. Definitely missed. But we, always looking forward to having you back next episode. But I want to remind you, you can catch us on TikTok as well. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Hold Husband Podcast. And for those of you interested in advertising on the podcast as well as promos, you can shoot us a DM at Hold Husband Podcast on IG, as well as shoot us an email at holdhusbandpodcast@gmail.com. All right, T.
I want to start off by giving a shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for always keeping us laced with our background audio. I want to remind y'all to support the podcast through our Cash App and our PayPal. We definitely love the support. And I want to remind everybody that y'all can catch the audio playback of the podcast every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on the core94.com. So tonight's episode is titled Single by Choice. And we just wanted to have a discussion about some of the circumstances or situations that are causing a lot of people to be single or claim that they're choosing to be single. But y'all know how we do around here, man. We like to start things off by discussing stuff that we've seen on our timeline or things that have been trending. So we got a couple interesting videos this week. This first video is a video that just shows how bad it is to be in the friend zone for a guy. This is a clip from the No Fugazi podcast where the host of the podcast challenged the women to call some guys in their friend zone and ask for money on the spot. Let's take a look.
How many guys do you have in your friend zone?
Approximately 3.
All right. Sarah?
Probably like 10 or 11.
10 or 11. The guys go out the way for y'all. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
Yeah, they go out the way for y'all. Y'all could easily hit up a and he'll send you 40 for Cash App. All y'all can get 40 right now. Matter of fact, we about to try it. Sarah, get your phone. I'm going to tell you what to do, but after that, you're going to text him like, JK, I was on a podcast. I'll send the 40 right back to you. Call him. Let's see.
All right, let's call this one.
Yes, Sarah, how are you?
Good, how are you? I got a quick favor. I was
That's why
wondering...
you calling me. I thought you missed me.
Of course, you know I miss you. Is there any way I could get like $80 from you?
I mean, yeah.
All right.
Can I sell it to you?
That's 400. That's 400.
Could you do 100? And then I'll explain later?
Yeah, but Zelle is fine because I don't have cash.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So go ahead. Call him.
Hello? I need to ask you something. Can you send me 100?
On Zelle?
Yeah.
200.
All right. Thank you.
How long you been your friend for?
Like a year or 2.
Had him in friend zone?
Yeah.
And you know he went the box.
And he probably do, but he's like a loser. Oh, I don't.
He like a what? Go ahead.
I
Say the
forgot
L
we're on
word.
the podcast. No. Hey, there's certain
He a
people-
loser.
No,
That's what you just said.
no.
Nigga, you watching this right now? She said you're a loser. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all niggas in the friend zone, bro. They don't respect y'all. They do not respect y'all.
Oh man, I know dude's gonna be crushed once he sees that video. But just look at how easy these guys are to please these women and give them things, hoping for a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, just you could tell when the first girl called the dude how excited he was, picked up first ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can relate to it because I used to be like that in high school where I would put girls on a pedestal and have crushes on chicks, and you gas them up to be this much bigger person in your brain, and it actually impacts your behavior when you're around them. But I'm so glad I've never been like the dudes that they called though. I've never had a chick could just call me and ask me for bread like that.
That's the worst, to be in the friend zone like that. And here's the thing: these women are overtly aware of the situation, as we saw in the video. Call him, hey, can you cash at me $100? She knows good and well he wants to hit it. He trying to buddy his way, friend his way into some pussy. She knows that, so that's why she feel like she's calling on the phone. Hey, she's all sweet, sauce poking, trying to kind of butter him up so he can go, hey, no problem, I'll give you $100. And then after that, he don't hear from her for another month or so till she asking him for something.
Yeah, man. I mean, I always look at situations like that. Like if a chick can just ask you for anything and you break your neck to give it to her, then that's on you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that means you don't have no discernment about who you rock with, who you give your resources to, or whatnot. Now, there's always this conversation, right? Whenever we have this conversation, women will try to flip it to the, well, if I can't ask you for help in a time of emergency or a time of need, like they'll
They try to
flip it
gaslight
from,
you.
yeah, they'll flip it from some, I'm just asking because I know I can get it, to, well, if I was stuck on the side of the road or if I needed a new tire, like they'll try to turn it into some emergency
Yeah.
type situation. But you know how they
Guilt
always
trip.
trying to move the
They trying to
goalposts.
they trying to guilt they trying to guilt trip you into doing it. And basically what they do is they basically dangling the cat in your face, like, hey, don't you want to help? Don't you want to help me out? Don't you want to help, somebody that you like out? Or, they might say throw something like, hey, your future girlfriend, like just something so it make you to entice you to want to do it. And
Yeah,
like you ain't gonna hear from her. And I've I've been in a situation not like this, but in another situation where I thought, hey, I was gonna get some food, so I helped the young lady move. This was in my early 20s. She's like, she called me and said, hey, can you help me move? So I'm thinking, okay, I'll help her. Thinking I'm gonna get some. Man, listen. After that, I wouldn't hear back for you. You tell me, I'm hearing back the next day. By then, I kind of just knew what the vibe was after that. So I
yeah.
learned
I
that lesson
mean,
the hard way.
some guys never learn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like the rejection part, man, it's part of life. Every woman is not gonna find you attractive. You know what I mean? Like, but that don't mean that you have to be hostile. That don't mean you have to be disrespectful, because there are a lot of situations where, oh, I mean, you can change. She could have met
yeah,
you when you was out of shape or you was broke, and
true.
you got yourself together, and now you meet at another event or another party, and the vibe is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how like sometimes you could see somebody and you be like, damn, I didn't even realize you don't look nothing like your old self. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, especially now, with surgery and BBLs and weight loss, like you could meet a chick that's unfuckable and then you see her next year and
But
be jocked out.
I I think you got to use moments like these as a teaching moment here because I think it's happened to everybody when you got put in the friend zone. You thought, hey, I'm gonna get this, whatever. You met her how you did, and she put you in the friend zone. I think you just got to see, okay, if she's not interested like that, she put her in your friend zone because either she's interested or she's not, right? If she put you in that friend zone, it's really hard to get out. So it makes no sense to try to buddy your way into some puss. It's
Yeah,
like asking a girl to the dance that keeps telling you no. Are you gonna keep asking her?
yeah. I mean, from a guy perspective, you have to learn to be able to identify the women that are feeling you, the ones that do see you in
True.
a sexual way. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, but a lot of guys just get so infatuated with attractive women or women that they find attractive, like getting that attention from her, and like you said, dangling that carrot or giving that hope. It's a very effective tool. And women try this. There are women, they have a copy and paste conversation on how they gonna ask for money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
so if you've ever been on a dating app, or you know what I'm saying, you have, oh, I'm just sitting there trying to pay this cable bill. I'm just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they have these kind of finesse ways of trying to steer the
And
conversation to what can you
drive
give me?
back. Yeah, they drive back. It's like, man, phone bill due in 2 days. Damn, I wish I had $150. Man, I just wish somebody would send it to me. So you come in and, oh, don't worry, I got it. There you go. What's your cash app? They know what they're
Yeah, I mean,
doing.
it's crazy that I mean, I guess on one sense, um, it's unfair to criticize women that sell pussy, right?
Hmm.
Um, but I understand the temptation to be able to use it as a manipulation tool. You know what I mean? Because um, just off the way my brain is set up, I can't imagine being single and just passing up head from people I find attractive, or passing up opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just stuff that just make perfect sense the way my brain is set up. And
Right.
so um, there there's no, it's no different than a guy, like when a guy's single and he's messing with multiple chicks. There's usually a reason. This chick can cook. This chick got cute friends. This chick works at the mall. Like you got different reasons why you mess with different women, and you have to be getting something out of the arrangement in order to keep it going. So,
Right.
uh, well, yeah. Let's keep things rolling now. This next video that we got, it was a video about Tia Mowry, where she's on with one of the new Derrick Jacksons. I forget, Chris Perry, I think his name is.
I think.
But they're having a conversation about men feeling like they're the prize. Let's take a listen, and then we'll follow up.
You mentioned tradition, and I think that's where it kind of needs to go back to, where, a man is courting a woman and showing her, how much he appreciates her and wants her and loves her or wants to be with her. And I feel like what's happening now, and again, I've only been in the world for a few months, is they have this mentality right off the bat that there is someone else. Do you know what I mean? Like there could be someone else.
Is it that they're the prize?
Yes.
We talking deep here. Yes. We about to get into it.
Oh my God, that the man is the prize.
The man is the prize.
Yes. I'm talking loud. Yes. That is so true. Like they've taken it off of the woman.
We read the scriptures, we look in the Bible, that the man becomes more infatuated with himself.
Oh man, it's so cliche how pandering works, right? He threw the whole he's the prize, he sees himself as the prize, like he gets into the pandering tone of voice or whatnot. So I wanted to just kind of break down everything that I heard in the conversation. So she's complaining about men not courting women the way that they used to, and wanting men to be traditional and do things the way that they used to. This is a woman that just left her husband for, it looks like, just because she was born, or you know what I'm saying, like where it got old. Like there was no real incident or a public explanation as to why she left him. But we see this a lot, you know what I'm saying, where women will be with the man for a long time and they just want to feel desired and want to feel wanted and want to be in the streets or whatnot. But the problem is, and we're going to get into it a little bit later with our tonight's topic, single by choice. But a lot of women, when they get on a dating market, the men that they want are going to already have several options. And so he may not necessarily be a prize. I hate that the whole phrase, the terminology of the prize. But the reality is, if you get a man that is highly desired on the dating market to choose that is willing to get married, that wants to be in a committed relationship, that treats you right, that makes the money that you want, and all those type of things, you are lucky as hell. That's the fact. You know what I'm saying? Like most women are going to live their lives and never ever accomplish that. So if a woman does meet a guy and that meets that criteria and he chooses to marry her or be with her long term, prize might not be the correct word, but it's hard to think of anything. You won something. You did something right.
Right. And just the man type of men that you described there, right? There's a level of competition to be with those men. Like you said, that man's got options, and that man's probably got the pick of a litter of women that want to be with him, right? I don't know. I thought this was kind of a shot at her ex-husband or soon-to-be ex-husband, but here's the problem I have. Women say, well, when someone she says she wants men to be traditional, right? A lot of these women think, have the modern mindset. When you point it back at them, when you say, hey, okay, well, why don't you be traditional? You do all the work around the house, cook, clean, take care of the kids, do all those things. They look at you like you're crazy. So if we're gonna go traditional, it's gotta be both ways. It can't just be one way and then you're gonna be mine the other way. Which way?
A lot of women have that kind of a double standard where they want men to adhere to certain behaviors or certain standards where they can just pick and choose what they do or won't do for a man. But her expectations are not aligning with reality. she said she talked about how she wants a man to show you how much he loves you, show you how much he means to you. Well, the way that a man shows a woman that he loves her or that he wants to be with her, it's not how most women say what they seem to be
Right.
looking for, right? Ladies, there are a couple of things that demonstrate a man's love for you. One, he uses his resources and the things at his disposal to benefit you, even when he don't have to, right? That could be using his brother that's a mechanic, a favor, a hookup, whatever the case may be. But he's going to use his resources to try to make your life better or help you with the problem. Um, he is thinking about your best interest when he's making future plans. Like he'll be talking to you in future tense. He'll be making future plans with you in mind, things of that nature. Um, and one of the things that I think women really underestimate is a man that loves you will put up with more bullshit from you than he will put up with from anybody else. And a lot of women just seem to overlook that. Men will overlook and put up with the shit he dislikes about you or you get on his nerves because he loves you. That is a demonstration of love because he would not do those things for somebody that he did not have those feelings for. And so I think her expectations are just totally out of reality. You know what I mean? Like possibly because of how long she was married. Like we from the 90s era.
Yeah, absolutely. And those are great points, especially about what a man would do when he's in love with. But I think here's the thing: when we speak about love, love is such a relative term because, like, let's just do this for example. We asked Tia Mari, what's her definition of love? Ask her soon-to-be ex-husband. They're probably going to have two definitions of what they believe. You know, so it's really up to interpretation and opinion of what love is. So, you know, she's throwing out the word, and it's basically whatever her definition of love is in that situation.
Yeah, you know, you gotta be able to the verbiage really matters, and getting women to stick to a specific definition is definitely key when you're having these kind of conversations. Like, it's interesting when you hear women that talk about why they divorced and all that. Like, you'll obviously get he cheated, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you'll get very little context, very little real detail about why he cheated. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what? A lot of times they don't even care about the rationale of why he cheated. The only thing they're thinking, well, he cheated. Cheating is cheating. Cheating is wrong. No matter whatever. She could be like, well, the last time I had sex with him was a 12-pounder months ago, right? Now, hey, listen, a man's not getting it from you. He's going to get it someplace else. But in her mind, well, he shouldn't have cheated. He should have just waited however long it's going to take for me to give it to him. Like, really?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times we see just with the panderers and all this type of stuff, society gives women every excuse that they need to be able to shift the blame on the man, make the man the problem, even when it could be very clear that a woman's thinking and attitude or the way she treats her man is problematic. Like we all see situations where you see a woman or with a guy, you're like, damn, I don't see how he doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
But that's like I said, he loves her. He got kids with her. You know what I'm saying? Like he's trying to hold the family together because men don't want to be the reason that they don't live with their kids and they don't have a family and those type of things. Like, yeah, it come down to money too, but the emotional aspect and, like you said, the word love. A guy making sacrifices for his family is an act of love from the male perspective.
No doubt. I mean, the man doesn't want to be the one to break up the family, but I think sometimes, you know, whatever the situation might be left with no choice, whatever that might be there. But I think,
yeah, I mean, the statistics show that though, but most women initiate over 70% of divorces. And a lot of times their rationale or the reason will just be something like, I just, you know, I didn't feel like I was in love or I just wasn't happy. It'll be something very minor where they just wanted the attention from other guys and wanted to have the positive or what they view as the positive aspects of the single life.
Right, and I think just with the pandering and excuses that society makes for them, I think you know there's a reason for it. You know, it's profitable to do. You know, they play on women's emotions. Women are, like they say, women are number one consumers. So hey, if you're able to play on women's emotions, hey, she'll be the main one buying whatever products you're selling.
Facts. Yeah, I mean, it's not really in most guys' best interest to tell women the harsh realities about life. So most guys are not. They're not going to really tell women when they're the problem. Most women are not going to realize they're the problem until it's too late. And so I don't know Tia Mari or whatnot, but I can just imagine what she's like to deal with on a day-to-day basis. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
she's a celebrity, she's a twin. You know what I'm saying? Like, just imagine all the factors. I mean, dealing with a woman is already difficult from a male perspective. Um, and her husband, Corey, from a single dude's perspective, he hit the jackpot. You know what I'm saying? He ain't a A-list celebrity or whatnot, but as a single man, he's not gonna struggle with women. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has the look, the swag, and the whole, everything to be able to be. I mean, he was able to pull a celebrity chick. You know what I'm saying? The chick that,
Exactly. Right. I think he's going to be just fine in a dating world. Now, as for Tia Mari, clearly it's not the same for her. She was posting pictures in bikinis that didn't go over too well with a lot of folks. So, and now she's saying this stuff. So we'll see how it plays out there.
Yeah, man. I'll be anxious to hear his side of the story, man. Hopefully somebody can get him on the interview.
Absolutely.
All right, man. We about to take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna be getting into tonight's topic, single by choice. Where we'll be talking about some of the circumstances and the mentalities that keep a lot of people single. Y'all are tuned into the Hold a Husband podcast. We'll be back in a minute. Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read, or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today. All right, everybody, welcome back to the How to Husband podcast. Tonight's episode is titled Single by Choice. We wanted to talk about the dating climate, the circumstances that have so many people that are single. Now, there are a couple of different things that I think are at play, and so I just wanted to touch on each of them just a little bit. Now, to start off, we have to understand that the dating market, the dating world, whatever terminology that you want to use for it, it's in a state that it has never been in, right? We've never had such a low marriage rate. We've never had such a high divorce rate. We didn't have technology that we're dealing with now, and the social impacts of it. So in a lot of ways, we are still learning how to adapt to the current circumstances. But I must say the outlook does not look good based off what we're seeing.
Not at all. And what it's going to take to bridge the gap here, I'm not sure, because I think what happened, especially when we talk about Archie, they push this hyper dependence when it comes to the women. So they're pushing that, and even for black men, sometimes, it's hard to, make a certain amount of money, so we got a lot of stuff that's just working against us and causing a bigger divide between one another here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like I said, I think there's so many things at play. Like, I think a big part of it, or the unintended impact of social media, is how it causes people to view themselves in relation to others. So many people compare themselves to their timelines and don't seem to understand that timelines are highlight films. They're
Right.
not really representing the full scope of what a person is dealing with in their life. And so I think that causes a lot of people to turn down situations that could be beneficial to them long term, or could potentially become a marriage or a long term relationship, because it doesn't look like what they see on their timeline that they actually jealous of.
But and that's the thing with social media, right? Everybody on social media, everybody's living their best life, right? Everybody's taking vacations to Cancun. Everybody's world's greatest parent, living a good life, right? But nobody knows what's really going on in real life, what's going on behind the scenes, and it kind of gives everybody this inflated sense of self, right? And if you think about the average, let's just say the average 25-year-old and younger has grown up in the social media. In
True.
2007, so we're about 15 16 years removed from the first iPhone. So many of this generation, Gen Z, grew right in the middle of the social media era.
Yeah, I mean, and it impacts social behavior. I mean, just look at how it looks like when you outside, when you're in the club, everybody's on their phone and everybody's, you know what I'm saying? Like, so the way that people interact and meet is almost directly tied to social media.
Now, when you was in grad school, you majored in mass communications, right? I remember you said you wrote a paper on the effects of social media, and this was back in late 2000s, right? Now, is it?
Yeah.
I think a lot of stuff would be relevant to today. What you put then, I think you kind of saw where this was going.
Yeah. Well, I just I did a report on how a man being on Facebook increased his potential sexual relationships.
Okay.
And so it was a real big task. So I had to kind of dwindle it down, where I did surveys from guys and then analyzed the data or whatnot. But basically, the data concluded that just by a man simply being on social media, the number of opportunities where he had sexual conversations, received sexual photo or exchanged sexual photos, or actually linked up with somebody new or from their past for sex increased simply by being on Facebook. So I'm pretty sure with now that those numbers and that trend has definitely been ramped up, because that's just, I mean, you got apps that are you got GPS, you got all these different things where it's designed specifically to link up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so um, it it causes a lot of problems, because the fact that you can link up, you could just be sitting at the house and you could be making plans or meeting someone new to potentially have sex with. It creates this cloud of insecurity that kind of just seems like over the dating world in general. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how, I don't
it
know
gives you
what's
access
to be done about that.
It gives you access to more people, right? Just like you did on your report. Men have more access to women, and women have more access to men. But I think women's biggest complaint is, you meet these guys on social media, but none of them want to commit. They just all want to hook up, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what most. I mean, the reality is most dating situations are just going to be temporary flings.
Unless you get married to them.
Yeah, I mean, so there are gonna be different lengths of time. Some are a couple weeks, some are a couple months, some last for years. So there are gonna be different degrees of, flings, for lack of a better term. But to that point, from a male perspective, staying on good terms with all the chicks you smashed in the past is that's how you can have,
Absolutely.
put up whole type numbers, because you're not getting blocked and cut off and having all these type of animosity. So if you do bump into somebody that you smashed last year, as long as she's still single or available, you got a very good chance of hitting again.
Absolutely. I mean, that's how these always just try to keep a good rapport, and not fall out over something dumb.
True.
I mean, if I did, they probably deserved it.
Yeah, I mean, so another thing that I wanted to talk about, like I guess this was kind of mentioned in the Tia Mari video. It doesn't take as much effort for a man to go from being a stranger to a lover with a woman, and that's partially because of text messaging. You can share a lot more information with the woman. From the era that I'm in, You had to even compete with times just to be able to talk to a woman. Like you could meet a woman on Monday or Saturday and only have two or three conversations with her throughout the whole week because
Wow.
her brothers be on the phone, her mama be on the phone. Yo, they're like
That was the
you could
house
be on the
phone
phone
days.
5 or 6 minutes and your aunt called to talk to your mom, stuff like that, where
Yeah.
your conversations were brief. So you had to um, maximize your interactions with a
Yeah.
woman.
That was back in you talking about back in the house phone days where you call, ask for such and such, like you said, speak to them for a few minutes, and then remember the early days of the internet, you had the dial-up, so if you was using the internet, you couldn't use the phone at the same time, man. So you really had,
True.
if they did have internet in the house, you really had to maximize those 5-10 minutes of how long you talk to. Nowadays, like you said, you can text in real time, you can text, you can FaceTime, you got you got WhatsApp, text now, Google Voice, so you can kind of tell everything in real time. Hey, I'm at work,
And it
I'm
could be
going to the gym.
overwhelming.
Yeah,
I mean, because it could be so invasive. Like you meet somebody and they find out what your Instagram is. Now they just watching your story and they
yep,
question you about where you at and what you doing and who you was with, and you know what I'm saying. Like I can't really relate because I haven't had to be single in this era. But some of the things that I hear people talking about and from the conversations that we had, those are all things that become problematic over time because it creates this expectation that you're accessible 24/7 when you're really not. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like sometimes you just away from your phone or you taking a nap or you just don't feel like talking, which is perfectly fine. But a lot of people in this generation don't
they
see
take it though.
that they take that as a slight.
Yeah, they take it the wrong way because whatever, obviously, look, we all have our phones on us. We take it wherever we go. We have it pretty much on us 24/7. But like you said, that does not mean we're on it 24/7. Does not mean we're just sitting on there looking at, waiting for such and such to text us back and forth. Like I said, you have other things. I mean, obviously, if you have a life, you have other things going on throughout the day. You're not just sitting here on your phone,
Right.
thumb twirling there.
Right. Another thing that I think I don't think people really look at it like that, but I think personally, I think makeup and beauty enhancements, ironically, are a part of the reason that women are single at the rate that they are.
Damn.
Because it's so easy for women to make themselves more attractive, to hide their flaws, to change their
Mhm.
shape, to do all these type of things, that they gain access to men that normally wouldn't give them the time of day. So they're able to get time, attention, and dick from men that are out of their league, for lack of a better terms.
Yeah.
And so what that does over time, it warps their sense of reality in the dating market, where now these women don't view the men that are in their league as viable people to date
Yeah.
because they able to get dick
But you
from
know what?
the executive at work.
You know what? Nowadays with social media, hell, they can put like Snapchat. You can put filters in, even on Instagram. You can put filters on your pictures to kind of block out any kind of blemishes you might have on your face. Sometimes you don't even have to put you don't even got to put the makeup on. And even it's getting even worse now because now you can alter the photos with AI. You can.
But see,
go to-
but that don't. But part of the problem is that don't translate to real life. Like
Exactly.
so a chick that does that alters her photos and does all that gets the cute dude that's in law school in her DMs, or the dude who just got out of med school. He might like what he see on social media, but when he see you in real life, you're not going to be up to par. So that I mean, I guess catfishing, it ain't.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
You know,
actual definition
women's-
is these days.
Like I said, women's, kind of sense of self gets inflated there because they're getting hundreds of likes on it. They got these filters on there. Maybe they showing a little cleavage. They taking the side pose with the ass showing. So,
Yeah.
they're getting 200, 300 likes, bunch of heart eye emojis under the comments. And like you said, you get some of those guys in your DMs. You get 10 to 20 DMs, maybe even sometimes a athlete, even a rapper in your DM. So like, oh, wow, I can really pull these dudes. And like you said, when they see you in real life, it's going to be a whole nother story. I'm like, wow, this a catfish right here.
Yeah, I mean, but I guess it really comes down to a woman's level of self-control because a lot of women portray themselves on social media in a way where none of the men that they actually are interested in would take them seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like just because you got a fat ass or you cute or you can get a lot of attention or monetize it doesn't mean that it's in your best interest long term. And then when you know that type of
But
lifestyle being a thought now that usually leads to single parenthood. You know what I'm saying? Like
absolutely. But you know what? When it comes to the men that's actually in their league, without the filters and altering their photos with AI, right? They kind of just tend to turn their nose up at these guys and say, "Oh well, he's out of my league," and no, that's the guy you should really be with in actuality.
but they don't, like I said, they don't view it
Is
that way. They have an inflated sense of value on the market that doesn't really align with the male perspective on how they value women. Because just because a man finds you physically attractive does not mean that you are somebody that he would view long term, even if he was fucking you for years.
I was just about to say that even if he was hit, it doesn't mean that doesn't. Oh, he can hit it 1,000 times. Does not mean he wants to be with you long term.
Yeah, I mean, and if he's a solid dude, a woman that's sexually involved with a man that got his shit together, it come with a lot of benefits. He gonna probably get you gifts for your birthday, and it's gonna be you gonna do fly shit with him. He's gonna smell good and look good, and he's gonna have the funds to do a lot of the things that you see on social media. But what you're not be going to getting is the engagement viral video and the gender reveal and all the vacations with them and all those type of things because he doesn't view you as somebody that he wants to parade and show off to the world. So I think that it's really easy for especially young women to get caught into that kind of lifestyle where all they focus on turning up, going to the club, who got a section, and they just kind of get caught up in that kind of lifestyle that breeds single.
Yep, I guess it's easy to get caught up in that lifestyle, and I guess it could be addictive because you let's just say you're out every Friday, Saturday night, you're getting in this person's section, that person's section. Like I said, maybe you're even in a rapper's in town, you get in his section, and you parlay your way up to free drinks, hookah, food, whatever. So I think that becomes addictive, and I think you're looking for, okay, well, what more can I get out of this? And at the end of the day, that eventually runs its course.
Yeah, because you know why? Because that doesn't really translate to long-term life. Like
Right.
as you start getting older, you have a career, you have kids and all those type of things. Yeah, you can still go out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you can't party and turn up and all that, but the frequency of it is a lot less. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're
Mm,
in your early 20s, it's rare that you're not partying or doing something on the weekend.
right.
Where depending on your personality, a person that's always on the scene kicking it like that, that's a single person's environment. You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
most guys go out to meet chicks. They not going out because they want to dance with their homeboys. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going out because that's where women are going to be. And just men just enjoy drinking and smoking and the extras that come with being in the
Right.
club. But if no dudes are going to a club where it's just all guys, like they're
Exactly.
there because they want to be around the women that are dressed a certain way, that are dancing a certain way,
Well,
and gives
I
them an
mean, listen,
opportunity to shoot their shot.
exactly. I mean, that's the main cat. If you're gonna go to any club, like if I'm gonna open up a club somewhere, and the first thing people gonna look at, well, the man gonna look at is the women. Even if it costs you $50 to get in the club, they're gonna be like, damn, it's $50, but damn, you see them bitches out there? Hey, we about to go right there.
Yeah, you got to put your. I mean, from a male perspective, you have to put yourself in position.
Yep.
But just from one of some of the issues that a lot of the guys like SD, like how he
Yep.
talks about meeting different women and trying to figure out who you compatible with. You meet somebody you compatible with, but they in a different city. You know what I'm saying? Like there are a bunch of obstacles that are preventing people that on paper
Don't
look compatible. Physically they're compatible, but their lifestyles and their circumstances don't really allow it to happen.
yeah. And and it happens sometimes. You meet the person, you might be compatible in different cities. Sometimes the stars don't align. Maybe they're in a different space in their life, and maybe they're not ready to move to your city, or you're not ready to move to their city.
Yeah, I mean, there ain't no right way to do it because you don't get no guarantees on it. You know what I'm saying?
Not
Like,
at all.
unless you meet somebody that wanted to move where you at or was already planning on doing that, that's a massive risk. But depending on what circumstance they're coming from, if you meet somebody that online and live in a small city that's trying to get to a major city, that could be a stepping stone to help them get to where they're
Yeah.
trying to get. But I don't think a lot of people these days look at longevity like that. Like I'm trying to meet somebody so that we can both put our resources together and improve the quality of life for both of us. It seems more like a finesse game. Like I want to try to see how much I can get out of you before it ends.
You know what? And I think that's problematic right there, because I see this more with women where a lot of these women try to get into these rather exploitative relationships. They're trying to see what they can get out of a guy with putting out the least, like almost basically where you're trying to get something for nothing there. And even that, listen, you might be able to pull that off for a while, but I think eventually, for the most part, most men are just going to wake up to that and just see it for what it is. Now, yeah, you'll find a sucker too. Maybe it might take them a little longer to catch on, but eventually,
There are always going to be suckers like that because
yeah,
I mean prostitution's the oldest profession for a reason.
Yep.
There are always going to be men that are willing to give money for the time, attention, and sex that come from attractive women. But the problem is the men that have the personality, the swag, and live the kind of lifestyle where that comes as just natural to them, they're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, so those kind of guys typically frown upon women that try to finesse them or treat them like they they just a ATM machine.
I just don't think that's a relationship that can last, or something that's going to be sustainable over time, in my opinion.
Yeah, because how you look at, I don't see how a woman can look at guys like that or have that type of mentality and ever expect to actually have a healthy marriage or a long-term relationship, because that's not what it's built on. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have a mentality where I'm trying to build with somebody else and I'm trying to just be selfish with what I got and only take from you, that mentality is never going to work. And smart guys can see that a mile away. You know what I mean? Just through the conversations that you have and the interactions you have with a woman, you can see what she's about and how down for you she is. At least you should be able to.
Absolutely. You know what? I think the biggest mistake a lot of men make in these types of situations is they don't better figure out, okay, can we get along outside of the bed? They kind of judge of what they do in the bedroom. Hey, they're getting, good head. Hey, she's throwing it back and when you from the back. But they're not seeing, okay, can I really get along with this person outside of it? Somebody enough that I can make a permanent commitment or long-term commitment to. And I think
it takes time, man.
It do.
Most people don't take the time because, like, we always talk about that honeymoon phase where you first meet and y'all first start kicking it. Well, in that phase, y'all usually just linking up for entertainment, fun, and sex. Like, there's usually no conflicts that are causing a problem for y'all. There's no real situation that makes you question their judgment or their conflict resolution skills or whatnot. And that's why you got to pay close attention to how they interact with other people. For a guy, does she have long-term relationships with friends, or is she still cool with friends from college or high school or whatnot? Like, those type of things actually matter.
No question about it.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I talk to single women and they tell me this, I'm single by choice and try to make it seem like they just would prefer to be by themselves and pay 100% of their bills. I always got to call cap on it because it's like, nah, because they'll say things like, well, the guys in my area don't meet the criteria and don't measure out or whatnot. Well, that's a circumstance that you're dealing with. That's not a
Right.
choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that tells me that if you were in a place where you met the right type of qualified guys and they were actually interested in you, then you would be willing to be in a relationship. To me, somebody being single by choice is where you got two or three chicks that you could see yourself being with, but you like,
Yeah, I
nah, I'd
think.
rather just stay single.
Yeah, I think a lot of women see it because it sounds like it's the cool thing to say. Hey, I'm single by choice. So I guess trying to sound like she's more desirable than she actually is, right? So she's confusing. I got a couple of guys,
Or in more control.
yeah, a couple of guys in her DMs. When women say, hey, how many guys on me? It's just a few guys in their DMs. Trying to get some sloppy toppy on a Saturday or Friday night here, right? Or a couple of guys with hard eye emojis under their comments, and we all.
Well, a lot of times though, the guys that casually know a woman, nor from work, nor from school, nor
Right.
from out and about. A lot of guys, if the woman's attractive, guys will create a positive persona of a woman in their head and kind
Gotcha.
of be infatuated with the idea of a woman until you actually get around her. Like until the reality of being around somebody day to day and having to choose where you go to eat and having to see what they cleanliness habits are, or they, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like once you see somebody up close, it can drastically change your perception of them and whether or not you would even take them serious or not. And so, there are a lot of things that people need to be aware of if they actually plan it or are hoping to have any type of success in the dating market.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I think that's about everything that I had on my. Oh no, there was one more thing one more problem. I think that for the guys that actually have success with women in real life, I think the technology, the social media, and dating apps and all that, it kind of just amplifies their ability to market themselves to women, and that can either cause them to be very difficult to select one woman to settle down with, or it can cause problems once they do settle down with being faithful to one woman. So there is like it's a problem that is never going to go away, but it has to be a representation of your level of self-control,
No
because
question.
we live in a screenshot era, man. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like you don't know, you could be minding your business with your side chick or your sneaky link, and one person see you or one person recognize you or one story, it could just be one
And
anything
then,
that put people in your business.
hey, exactly. Like I said, we in the era where you always one screenshot or everything nowadays is on camera. Everybody can just pull out their smartphone, catch you somewhere. Hell, even nowadays, I think what was that? How even Bill got caught? It was on the Ring camera. So
Yeah, man.
got that too now. So I think you just always got to be careful. You always got to be careful of your surroundings. But like you said, you got to have discipline. And SD always says this all the time: is having dick discipline here.
Yeah, I mean, as you get older, you mature, you realize that the thrill of it is not usually worth the outcome in a lot of cases. And you could put yourself in a lot of unnecessary situations chasing sex. So, fellas, we get it. When you're young, you make a lot of dumb decisions, but when you start looking at trying to be a husband or a father and you got responsibilities, you really can't afford to take all those kind of risks. And from a male perspective, you in a much better position to get consistent time, attention, and pussy if you live a safe, stable lifestyle, because that's what most women are looking for men for. The guy with a house, with the crib, with the bins and all that, that's very safe and very stable for most women to fall right in line with.
You know that.
Look like we are up against the clock. We about to get up out of here, man. But before we go, I want to give another shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us laced with our background music. I want to remind everybody, y'all can continue to support the podcast through our Cash App and our PayPal. Shout out to my man SD. Can't
Yes,
wait to
sir.
get you back on the next episode.
Absolutely.
Jay, I appreciate you linking up with me so we can get this one knocked out. This has been another episode of the Hold a Husband podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.
Peace.